Okay, I just watched HV Logic's video on the hot dog lock. He had posted on Reddit that I should pick mine, so mine's been sitting in a box forever. It's this hot dog lock by Australian lock company. Here it says Aldon Corporation, so I don't know what that means. Sorry. But if you watch his video, you'll see he makes a fancy tensioner. I didn't do that. What I did is I took a wiper insert and I cut a slot in it. So on the hot dog lock, it has 6 pins inside, and like a normal tubular lock, once you pick all 6 of those, it'll turn to the neck. It'll turn so that the leftmost hole will then go to the next position, and then it'll lock up again. What's interesting is that most of these tubular locks, they hold on to the key, and you can only pull it out when it's locked or unlocked. But this one, every 60 degrees, when the holes line up, you can pull the key out, which is cool because usually when we pick one of these locks, rather than keep repeating ourselves and picking it over and over again, we usually just pick it one position and then show, hey, we've moved it once, so we can repeat that process, exact same process, to pick it another position. And usually once you pick it one position, now you're stuck like this, and you can't put the key in usually, and you at least have to either pick it back or pick it all the way a couple more times. But what's neat here is that you can pick it one position and then you can come back with the key and just reset it to wherever you want. So that said, I did make this wiper insert here, and you can tension it like that, but it's very thin here and it's very shallow and it can pop out easily. So I went and just grabbed some feeler gauge to make a deeper cut and tension it that way. Now, if you watch HV Logic's video, and I think he got it from Ferrell or something like that, they use a piece of copper pipe and then they crimp a piece out to go into that area that needs to be tensioned, and then they get a nice smooth tension that way. I was too lazy to go into the garage or something, or I just wanted to try something different. So I'm going to tension this way. The problem with this tensioner is that when you turn, it's pushing against this curved side, which pushes the tensioner that way into the housing. So it's going to bite into the housing, and that's going to make it so that it'll bind up on the housing and you're not applying good tension to the good rotational tension to the plug. So that'll be an issue we'll fight during this pick. So what we're going to do is I took a piece of music wire and I just stuck it in this multi-pick handle. And this music wire is similar to the diameter of one of these pins on the key. And we're going to go and feel for a binder. So even the smallest bit of spring is not the binder. So these are both a small bit. This one has, you see, a lot of spring, so that one's not binding at all. Short spring like this generally means it's in a gate. And that one's pretty long spring there. Long spring there, long spring there. So these two have the short spring. Now what could be happening though is that I just used the key, so a lot of the pins might still be set. So let's go ahead and try rotating the plug a little to see if any of those reset. And then, yeah, you see that? I don't know if what happens, but there's a certain position right there. I can turn it pretty far, and even, I know it's a little bit off the camera, I can get a little movement out of that bolt, right? So that's the position I think I want right now, where I'm actually getting tension. Now these ones that were binding, like had small movement, now have large movement, so they're no longer binding. So now we need to find a binder. Okay, so this one, it's not moving at all, not sprung at all. So I'm gonna push on it. I'm gonna let off the tension mostly because it's gonna fight me. And now it's just springy, very short, so it's in a gate. So let's feel another one. Not moving at all. Let off tension some, push down, and I felt the plug move a little, and very short spring. Go back to the first one, very short spring. Now we gotta find another one that's like that. This one's now binding. I'll let off tension and push down on it. And yep, very short spring. One thing that when you're pushing down, you might push too far and overset. Let off tension some and let it pop back out. This lock is pretty forgiving. I guess the tolerances are quite loose. So it'll pop back out. Let's find another binder. All right, this one's long spring, so it's not binding at all. Not binding at all. All right, this one here, not moving, so let off tension. Push down. There we go. Try to get the... And I can pretty much take the tensioner out and not lose progress on this lock. But we'll check the other ones. Little spring there. Little spring there. Little spring there. I know you can't see which hole I'm going in. I should describe it a bit better. So I'll say the one that's right underneath the tensioner is 1, and then I'll go clockwise. So number 2, I think that's one I just did, is binding. But all right, it just barely tapped it, and now it's springy. So, all right. So again, I was binding up on the tensioner. That's going to be a problem throughout this pick. And it rotated a little. And now this this number 2 is binding again. So yeah, it's not really springy, this number 2. So I'm wondering if that's a false gate. I don't know if there's false gates in this or what. Let's try 3 and 4, which I haven't set yet. 3's short springy, and 4 is long springy. So it must be this number 2 is, and maybe there's a false gate or something. I don't. Let's see. I'm pushing it deeper. It doesn't want to go deeper, and now it's all loose. So probably have to go back to one of these previous ones I set. No, one of the new ones. No, probably just tensioner issues. See if I can get it to rotate again. All right, now that's binding again. That number 2, and there we go. Got some plug rotation. I heard something up in. Very short. On 5, 6 are short. 1 is very short. And 2's binding again. So 2's giving me issues. I don't know. All right, there we go. I let it pop out some. It was probably overset. And 5, 6, and 1 are fine. 2 is there, and now 3 is binding. So we'll go ahead and work 3 down. That might have been an overset on 3. So I let it out some. All right, 2, good. 1, good. Very short now. So we must be very close. The gates are very short. So let's try number 4, which we haven't touched yet, and it's binding. So push down 4. All right, there we go. And we're open. So you can see that's going to start to move as we go. All right, and we're going to go 60 degrees, and it's going to snap into the next position. Or sometimes you can, oh no, there it snapped into the next position. And this came out pretty far. Now what you would do is you'd go and apply your tension, and you'd start your pick all over again. Binding, push that down, not binding, binding, click. And of course with this tensioner, it would take a while because you run into those weird issues. But yeah, there I got 5 and 6 picked. So, but because the hot dog lock lets you put the key in at any point, we can put the key in here, and we can reset, or we can lock, or whatever we want to do. All right, I'm either going to cut the say thanks and cut the video here, but if the video continues, that's because I'm going to attempt to gut it, which I don't know if I can do. So